Y'all, we're making coconut cream pie. Come on. Welcome to Highfalutin Low Carb, the weekly web series where we find and test the best low carb recipes this crazy internet has to offer. Today, we're tackling low carb coconut cream pie. Stay tuned. All right, guys, low carb coconut cream pie. Can it be done? Today we're going to find out by testing two very popular recipes that I found online, but I need to give a quick thank you to Perfect Keto for generously sponsoring this video, so thank you for that. We'll talk more about it later. All right, our first recipe comes to us from the popular YouTube channel Ketoserts, and it is Keto Coconut Custard Pie. Now, I don't know if you've seen that channel before, but the production quality and food and recipes look beautiful, and I've been dying to try one of them on camera, so we're finally getting to it. This is, again, Keto Coconut Custard Pie by Ketoserts, the YouTube channel. And our second recipe is by our friend over at All Day I Dream About Food. Carolyn has done Keto Coconut Cream Pie. So we're going to cook both of those now, but let's start on our first recipe. Come on. All right, guys, so without wasting any more time, let's get started on this first recipe. Again, this is Keto Coconut Custard Pie by the YouTube channel Ketoserts, and this is going to go fairly quickly. This is just going in a 9-inch glass pie pan. There is no crust on this, and there's a reason for that because I chose one of these recipes with a crust, one without a crust, one that's baked. This is a custard pie, one that's a cream pie that's just going to set up in the fridge. I think that covers the gamut, especially for people who don't want to waste the carbs on the crust, but for me, the crust is the important part. But long story short, let's get started here. We've got, this looks like a fright here, but that's actually just 4 room temperature eggs, and I've already added some vanilla extract to that. And then we're also going to add in our liquid ingredients. It's all just sort of goes in the pool together, and we just whip it up with a hand mixer. This is some melted butter. This is some warm coconut milk, full fat coconut milk. And if you want to know how much, use the link down here on the bottom of the screen. It'll also be in the video description below. You can get exact amounts for all of this so you can make it yourself. This is some warm, heavy whipping cream. So you've got coconut milk and heavy whipping cream and butter. And then we're going to start in with some of these dry ingredients, and this is our desiccated coconut, shredded coconut, unsweetened. Make sure it's unsweetened. This is some powdered erythritol-based sweetener. I used Swerve here. And this is some baking powder and a little bit of salt. And then lastly, just a touch of coconut flour. But because I've stored it in the freezer, I'm just going to quickly sift it out just to make sure we don't have anything trailing behind that we don't want. All right, and now we're just going to whip this up. So we're just going to pour this directly into a pie pan, and I'm going to tell you, she did not say anywhere in the instructions or in her video to grease this, and I hope I do not regret this and that I should have put some butter. I mean, there's a lot of butter in here, but I just feel like should have maybe sprayed it, but she did not say to, so all right, get out of the way. All right, so I don't know what could be quicker or easier. That was pretty fast. So this is going to go in the oven at 340 degrees for about 40 to 50 minutes. And because it's a custard pie, that's how it's going to set up, the heat from the oven. And then this has got to chill for at least 2 hours before we come back to it. So what we're going to do is make both of these pies, chill them overnight, and test them in the morning, which will just be a few minutes for you. But all right, so this is going to go in the oven. I'm going to clean up, and let's get started on our second recipe in just a bit. All right. All right, guys, so let's get started on our second recipe. This is the Keto Coconut Cream Pie. This is by the wonderful Carolyn over at All Day I Dream About Food. And we started with her Easy Keto Pie Crust. This is an almond flour crust. It's already been pre-baked because this is the only baking this is going to do. We're going to do some hands-on active cooking here on the stovetop, but otherwise this is going to set up all in the fridge overnight. So this was just some almond flour, butter, sugar, a little bit of sweetener, and then you press it into the bottom of this a 9-inch pie pan, and then it goes in the oven for about 20 minutes. So this is ready to go. And now here we have got, this has all been heating while I've been working. So this is some coconut cream and some heavy cream, and it's almost at a simmer. So you just want to get this heated. And coconut cream is the cream off of the top of a can of full-fat coconut milk. If you're lucky enough, you can find a can of coconut cream, because if you need enough, you might not have enough pure cream sitting on top of a can of coconut milk. One thing you do not want is cream of coconut, the sweet stuff that's over in like the mixed drink aisle with the drink mixers that you make, that you make daiquiris out of. No, that's pure sugar. It's delicious, but that's not what we're looking here. We're not looking for cream of coconut, we're looking for coconut cream. So those are ready here, and now we are going to start preparing our eggs. And this is some eggs and an extra egg yolk. And to this, we're going to add some powdered erythritol. She said swerve is what she likes to use. And a little bit of salt. And then here's where we're going to temper these eggs with our hot liquid, right? So I'm going to just quickly whisk this together. What you don't want is for these to go together really quickly, because you will wind up with scrambled eggs floating in cream. And we don't want that for sure. So once you've got these mixed well, we're going to slowly drizzle about half of our heated cream, and try not to make a mess, half of our heated cream into our eggs slowly. It's going to make a mess on the side of the pan probably, but okay, no lumps so far, so this is looking good. So they're kind of tempered now. The temperature is, and then now we can put all of this right into our pan. And now this has got to heat for 4 or 5 minutes. This is going to thicken up rather quickly. So let's do that now, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to take this off the heat, because as you can see, that has really started to thicken up, and we're going to do a couple extra steps here to get it even thicker. So off heat, we're going to add in a little bit of butter. It's unsalted butter. This is coconut extract and vanilla extract. So that little extra bit of coconut extract might give us an extra wang in there. Get that combined, and then we are slowly going to add in a little bit of xanthan gum by dusting it over the top as we whisk. So just a little over the top, and whisk vigorously to get it incorporated, because once it hits liquid, it kind of sits in one spot and can just stick. Now we've got all that combined. In goes our shredded, unsweetened coconut. And that's all there is to it, folks. And now we're going to pour this beautiful stuff into our prepared pie shell. Let me get that. Okay, so our pie shell has cooled, and then this should just go right in on top. And then, unfortunately, all of this has to go live in the refrigerator for at least a couple of hours. Ours is going to be overnight. Let me spread it. All right. So we're going to have a nice little topping on this, so it doesn't have to be completely beautiful, but that smells so good. So, all right, our other pie is going to come out of the oven in just a few more minutes. Then both of them are going to cool here to room temperature, put them in the fridge, and I will see you in the morning, and we're going to taste these and have some pie for breakfast. All right, so I will see you back here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back. Good morning. I said we were having pie for breakfast, and y'all, I sure meant it. Look at this. Look at that. These guys turned out beautiful. Like I said, they've been in the fridge overnight. So we're going to test these now that they've set up and chilled properly. I've taken them out probably about a half hour ago just to knock some of the true cold off of them. But before we taste these, I just want to give another big thank you to the sponsor of this video, Perfect Keto. You guys know that Perfect Keto, if you've been here any length of time, they have been a long-time sponsor of my channel. And it truly is a product that I use on the regular, on the daily, particularly the one that I love the most, their collagen. They're flavored and unflavored collagen products. I throw it in the coffee or in a drink in the morning. And, you know, collagen, this is the grass-fed collagen. It has a fair amount of science out there for helping hair, skin, nails, joints. You know, I always say we're going to find out at 46 years old. I'm hoping that that provides a little bit of elasticity to my skin. Otherwise, I always use their whey protein powders as a flour substitute. They've got, particularly the chocolate and vanilla are great for sweet baked goods. Whey protein, if you cut out some of the almond flour or coconut flour, the nuts flours, and mix in a little bit of whey protein, it's just light and fluffy and adds a nice flour-like texture to a lot of baked goods. So I truly love that. So Perfect Keto, thank you for sponsoring this video. It's sponsorships like yours that keep channels like mine on the air, and for that I am truly appreciative. Couldn't do it without you. So if you guys want to support me, go support them. Use the link down here on the screen. It's perfectketo.com/HF20, and for a limited time, if you use that code HF20, you'll get 20% off of any Perfect Keto product and free shipping. So be sure to check that out. You can always use my regular code for 15% off, but for a limited time, you'll get 20% off and free shipping. So, all right, thank you, Perfect Keto, and thank you guys. Now let's go taste some pie. Come on. Okay, so these are our two pies, and we've still got to finish this one. This was the second pie by All Day I Dream About Food, the keto coconut cream pie. And we made a quick little topping for this morning that needed to be put on after it was chilled. And this is some just whipping cream, and some Swerve confectioner's substitute, and a little bit of vanilla extract. And you whip that until you've got some stiff peaks. And then we're just gonna, get out of the way, we're just gonna spread this over the top. And I've also toasted a little bit of the unsweetened coconut flakes to sprinkle on top to make this look all beautiful. And while I'm sitting here doing this, I realized this morning I failed to put, last night before we baked this pie, which I'm gonna talk about this in a minute in the color there, I was supposed to put a little bit of a quarter cup of the desiccated coconut on top, and I forgot to, so it would have had a little bit of a flakier coconut flake topping, but I still think it's going to be good, but we'll address the color here in just a second. On top of this goes a little bit of toasted coconut flakes just to make it look pretty. All right, guys, so before we taste these, let's talk about the nutritional information. This first pie here, this is the Keto Coconut Custard Pie by the YouTube channel Ketoserts. And it should have had a little bit of shredded coconut on top before I baked it, but I didn't. And I'm gonna tell you now that, yes, if you look at her video and her photos, this is way darker than her pie. Now, granted, with the light here, it makes it look way much darker than it really is, but it's considerably darker than hers, and I actually cooked it for less time. She said to cook this for 40 to 50 minutes at 340 degrees. For my pie to look like hers, the color of hers, I would have had to take it out at about 18 to 20 minutes, and it was not set. It was completely just jiggly. This was 35 minutes, so about 15 minutes less than what actually her time called for. So she doesn't provide written instructions in her in the video description, which would be super duper helpful. I mean, she gives a list of ingredients, but not step-by-step instructions. You have to get those from the video itself. And I wish I had baked this a little less, probably gonna be a little more firm than hers appears in her video, but I think the bake time on that is out of whack. And I do have an external thermometer in my oven to check the temp, and it was on temp. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. So nutrition information, This pie makes 8 servings. If you cut this into 8 pieces, one slice is 337 calories. You got 5.6 grams of protein. You've got 30.7 grams of fat. You've got 3.2 grams of fiber for a total of 3.3 net carbs per slice. Okay, so in our second pie, this is the Keto Coconut Cream Pie by All Day I Dream About Food. Hers, she slices into 12 slices, and granted it is a little thicker, but I would be hard pressed to get 12 little tiny slices of pie out of that. But if you do, and you get 12 slices, one slice is 365 calories. You've got 5.4 grams of protein. You got 35 grams of fat, 6.5 total carbs. You got 2.2 grams of fiber, so you're at about 4.2 grams of net carbs. So there's the information. So let's slice these and see which is the best, I guess you could say. Since one's a cream pie and one's a custard pie, I know they're going to be different textures going in, but we're here for the coconut. So let's see what we think. Okay, so let's slice our first one here. I'm just going to come all the way across, and you want a wet paper towel to wipe your knife off with, just so you get a pretty slice. And the first one's going to be the sacrificial slice, as it always is for me. Because it's always hard to get one piece out of there. And again, if you remember correctly, her instructions, and nowhere in the video did it say to grease this pie plate. So this may not even come out of here. We're gonna find out. And I just gotta give myself, ooh, come on, come on, come on. That wasn't so bad. We're gonna count that as 2 slices for sure, but I just needed to be able to get the first one out of there, and then I can cut my pie slice for my thumbnail, which is what I'm generally worried about. All right, so we're gonna put this one here, and now let's come in to this one. Gosh, it looks pretty. And let's try to cut it. I'm gonna come across the handles. This one's gonna be a little more difficult to cut because there is a crust. Ooh, that's pretty. Y'all, that is a pretty pie, you gotta admit. Let's hope it tastes as good as it looks. Sacrificial slice. This is where I'm like, gosh, really getting 12 slices out of this pie? I mean, I guess you can do it if you're better at this than I am. I've never been a good pie server, even if I have a pie server. Oh my gosh. Y'all, that looks so pretty. Okay, so let's test our first one. This is our coconut custard pie. This is a couple of slices of that here. And now we know that custard pies aren't the creamy, super creamy texture of a cream pie, but it's flaky, it's pretty. Again, it should have a little bit of flake coconut on top, but we don't have that. I was so scared that was going to be dry. I was sitting over here looking at all this whipped cream thing, and this one's going to be dry, and oh, it's not. That tastes so good. Did I tell y'all that I love coconut cream pie? Oh, that is so good. Okay, y'all, that is fantastic. And you saw how, you remember how easy that was? We just put it up in a mixer, all the stuff, didn't put a crust in, and threw it in a pan. I would bake it for maybe about 8 minutes less, 10 minutes less than I did there, but even with the slight overbake, gosh, that is good. Okay, let's try our coconut cream pie version. It sits up really big and tall and is beautiful, and this is what I think of when I think of coconut cream pie. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, let's see how All Day I Dream About Food did. That may be one of the best things I've ever tried on this channel. I ain't joking. That doesn't taste low carb at all. These are both just straight up 10s in my book. And I often say on here, you know, oh, low carb coconut cream pie, can it be done? You better believe it. I really, really mean it this time, both of these recipes. Now, again, this is a custard pie. It has a different texture than this pie. Is it as good? Yes. This pie, the coconut cream pie, is that creamy, fluffy, refrigerator, icebox, chilled. Ooh, that is fantastic. Y'all, either one of these, if you're thinking about this for, I know the Easter weekend is coming up, if your family celebrates, or just any kind of spring day pie, you know, coconut cream pie just feels like spring to me. And either one of these, you would not go wrong. Holy smokes. So, yep, there you have it, folks. Low carb coconut cream pie. Yes, please run as fast as you can to Ketoserts YouTube channel or All Day I Dream About Food. Go to the links down below. Make these. Tell me what you think. Holy smokes, they were great. And thank you guys for tuning in. I say this every time. These videos are a way for me to maintain my low carb way of eating. And looking into that camera as often as I can helps keep me honest. So I appreciate that you've come along for the journey. Be sure to hit the like button down below. That helps YouTube know that you like this and they should share it with other people. And if you're new here, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and the bell button so you know just as soon as I release new videos. There'll be another one next week. And lastly, I need to thank my Patreon sponsors. If you don't, they'll be here on the side. You'll see them scrolling. If you don't know what Patreon is, think of it as the tip jar for the internet. It allows people like you who enjoy what people like me do here on YouTube, and you can give $1 or $2 a month just to sort of keep the train on the tracks, as it were. And without these are my true rock stars. Without them, none of this would be possible. So thank you to those guys. I'll meet you over there on Patreon and on Instagram and Facebook, where I can talk a little more freely and a little more frequently. All right, I love you guys. I'll see you next week with another low carb video. Bye-bye.